Hey everyone, it's Allie, and today I want to talk about Torchlight a little bit more, as I did promise to make a follow-up video discussing Endgame, and I want to give you a quick guide today on what your early game progression is going to look like, as well as give you some tips on how to make your progression all the way up to Timemark 7 just a little bit easier. But a lot of people seem to take me up on my suggestion to try out Torchlight yesterday, and I'm happy to see that everyone's having fun and enjoying the game as something to do until the other ARPG seasons come out. Without further ado, let's get into it, and let's go over everything you might want to know about how to start playing Endgame in Torchlight Infinite. Endgame is going to start once you finish up chapter 3 and are back in town. From here, you simply just have to come to top right of town, go up these stairs, and interact with the thing on the ground here. From here, you're going to get access to the Netherrealm, which is effectively Torchlight's version of Path of Exile's maps. The quick TLDR here in terms of how progression is going to work is you're going to have different time mark levels that you're going to go through, with time marks 1 through 7 effectively being the equivalent of white maps in PoE, time mark 8 being yellow maps, and then everything past that being the equivalent of red maps and beyond. The way this is going to work is fairly simplistic in terms of how to progress. You're going to simply start off with Glacial Abyss active, and then everything else is going to be locked, and you're going to slowly unlock these as you progress through time mark levels. To begin with, in Glacial Abyss, all you're going to be doing is simply just choosing one of these different zones to go do, and then once you complete 2 of them, you'll be able to fight the boss. And then with that, you'll be able to go and level up your time mark to time mark level 2. From there, you're also going to get access to Lava Sea. And then all you need to do is go back to Glacial Abyss at time mark level 2, complete 2 more fights here, then fight the boss at tier 2, and go do the same in Lava Sea, where you complete 2 zones here and then fight the Lava Sea boss. And then once you do both of those, you'll be able to move on to time mark 3, where you'll unlock Steelforge, you do the same thing, and so on and so forth, all the way up until tier 7. One easy way for you to know which zones you have and haven't done yet is by looking for the little plus black hole thing in the top right, indicating they can still get a passive point from doing that area, meaning you have not fully completed yet. Once you do have all those passive points and complete all the zones, that's when you have a little arrow on the icon on the bottom left, indicating it's time to move on to the next tier. In terms of actually doing these zones, you are going to need to have a beacon for the specific zone you want to do and for the specific time mark level that you're interested in doing. To begin with, that means you're going to be using time mark 1 Glacial Abyss beacons. And then once you do move on to time mark 2 and can get access to Lava Sea, you are going to then also need to get yourself level 2 Lava Sea beacons along that. You are going to get quite a lot of beacon drops for just playing the game. I would not recommend to immediately boss rush. I would recommend to clear the whole map and at least kill the rares, as they are massive loot pinatas. And with that, you should have no issue sustaining everything. At the same time, if you do run out of beacons and need more, you can just come trade with Zach the Hunter. And if you go over to the beacon shop, you can trade your Netherrealm resonances for beacons of different tiers for all the different zones. As you're progressing through this and killing the bosses, you might notice that you get these points in the top right. You can get up to 92 of these, and these can be used in this game's version of the PoE Atlas tree to juice either specific mechanics, such as, for example, Clockwork Ballet if you like this mechanic, or Dark Surge, or so on, or you could use them to get generic loot increases from every single mob you come across, or to boost your beacon drop rates, or to basically increase anything that you might want to farm. There's quite a lot of different things you can do here. And if you come over to the options, go to Pro Builds and go to Quick Loot, you can simply click on someone's build for it that you're interested in, click Apply All, and then the game will simply just show you how to put your passive points to have their exact tree. What I'd personally recommend for you to do with your starting passive tree is, first off, you're going to go and pick up all of the nodes that are going to give you extra Netherrealm resonances when killing bosses. And then you're going to go over to the beacon nodes and then go grab yourself this node specifically. What's going to happen now is that the bosses are going to have a pretty high chance to drop a stupid amount of resonances all at once. And then this node is simply just going to convert 0.3% of them into beacons, pretty much completely taking care of all of your beacon sustain all the way up until tier 7. You can also go pick up this node over here for 16% chance for them to be duplicated, and this node up here to get a few more from magic monsters, but honestly, I feel like that's probably overkill, and this should be more than enough to self-sustain everything. Along that, what you could do is you can juice up boss spawns to get multiple bosses per map and not only get really good map sustain for that, but make some pretty decent cash at the same time. In the top right of the commodities constellation, we have a baseline chance for extra bosses to randomly appear throughout your maps. Later on, you're going to also be able to pick up this node up here, which gives you a 50% chance for 2 extra bosses if your map has 6 modifiers on it or more, which is going to really kick this whole strategy into overdrive and make you quite a lot of currency. But on its own, this should be pretty good, giving you about a 20% chance to see an extra boss per map map that you do. With that, you can also just come down here and pick up things such as this node, which gives you a 10% chance for winding key, which are used to respec points if you're not happy with what your setup looks like, along with picking up all the points for extra energy cores and getting all the points for extra embers. These three things, the embers, keys, and cores, are all commodities that people want in quite large bulk, and you're simply just going to passively generate quite a lot of them, and then you can simply just sell them on the auction house for quite a lot of money. Currently, a full stack of 999 Netherrealm residences sell for about 40 to 50 flame elementium, which is the currency that we use to buy and sell pretty much everything in this game, which is quite a lot of currency and should be more than enough to really get you going and be able to start purchasing items for whatever kind of build you're playing. The same can be said about energy cores, embers, and whatnot, and you're more than free to just basically sell all these, or to at least keep your embers if you want to do your own crafting. With that out of the way, let's talk about what juicing is going to look like in this game and how you can make your maps even more rewarding. First off, you might notice that some of the nodes that you have access to in each zone have extra rewards on them. These are going to be randomly generated from the deck of cards that you have access to. To begin with, you cannot edit these deck of cards, and it's just going to be a pre-made set of things with different rewards on them, and every single one of them is going to have a limited amount of uses denounced by the little notches on them. For example, this one can be done 4 times before it goes away, and once you do end up completing one of these fully, it will reshuffle the whole zone and add new cards onto some of these areas. Later on, you'll be able to add in more cards if you're choosing from the card library, and you'll be able to mess around with these and change your deck around for whatever kind of farming you want to do. For example, if you really like farming Arcana, you can put in all the Arcana cards and get significantly more rewards out of it. It's just a way to further specialize into anything that you're interested in doing. But for now, they're simply just extra loots, and I would just simply look through them and pick whatever you enjoy out of them. On top of that, when getting a map ready to run, you can use Netherrealm residences to add extra modifiers onto the area, making it more difficult. By default, all maps are going to have 1 modifier on there, and you have 3 rerolls that you could do if you don't like what is offered to you. At the same time, you can click the plus button to add extra stats, and each one of these is going to give you 15% extra loots from everything that you kill inside of it. These affixes aren't like PoE affixes where you can get something like Fizz Reflect and your build is literally bricked, but there are some pretty nasty modifiers on here that can make it significantly harder for some builds. On top of this, we're going to be able to do later on in the end game, as the proper juicing in the game, is you're eventually going to have these slots unlocked at Timemark 7, where you're going to be able to put in compasses, which just further allow you to juice the content even more. There are quite a lot of compasses that do quite a lot of different things, and these all can be bought and sold on the auction house, meaning if you have a specific strategy in mind that you really enjoy, you can specifically just keep juicing for that over and over again. These all have different rarities that just make them stronger or make them do different things, and you can make your maps pretty insane with you being able to add thousands of monsters into them if you choose to do so. There's quite a lot of strategies you can do here, and I would like to hopefully cover some of them as we move further into the season. It'll be fun to explore and try out stuff for myself, as this is a part of the game that I experienced a little bit 2 years ago, but I didn't fully deep dive into it to the same degree that I might in a PoE season, for example. So I can't really show you a lot of examples of it and show you what it might look like in practice, but I do remember having quite a lot of fun with compasses and the few strategies I was trying out when I did last play the game. That's pretty much the basic gist when it comes to everything endgame related in Torchlight. I personally really like the system because it reminds me of old Path of Exile juicing, where you're able to just have thousands of monsters in your maps. You're able to just highly specialize in one specific strategy. And I feel like it also blends in some of the more modern things that PoE have done well, such as the Atlas tree, in its own really unique way, which makes it very, very enjoyable. If you have any questions on any of this, feel free to leave a comment in the comments below. I'd be more than happy to help you with any questions as soon as I can. You're also free to come by my Twitch and ask me any questions there live, or feel free to drop by our Discord and come hang out with all the other kitties and be a part of our community. With that said, I hope you kitties enjoy this video. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you all in the next video.